guys, it's August the 5th, 2024, and hope everybody's having a great day today. I'm sitting here on my front porch because it is starting to rain. I'm sure everybody's probably aware, but we have a big tropical storm that's headed this direction right now. We have had rain now for like the past couple weeks. It's been nonstop, and then now we have this tropical storm that's headed up through Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina right now. And Governor McMaster already claimed a state of emergency for our state. So I've been spending this morning trying to get things prepared for us for the storm. We live way back here in the woods, and I'm really worried that we're probably going to end up getting some trees knocked over and stuff like that. Um, Also, I just placed an order for a generator online. I've got to go pick that up here in just a few minutes after I get done doing this video. I used to have a generator, but I had to sell it last year. I was just in a financial bind and needed some money, and now I need to go get another generator because they're saying that we're probably going to end up losing power because of this. And we actually just went to the store and like stocked our freezer up the other day, not with intention of this storm. We just went to the store and bought a bunch of groceries, and I'm worried that we're going to end up losing power, and I'm going to lose all my groceries that we have in there. I've got a huge freezer that we just loaded up. I do not want to lose that stuff. But what it looks like for anybody that's on this channel that lives in Florida, Georgia, or South Carolina, like we're about to get like some major storms headed in our direction. So anybody who lives in these states, man, I'm sorry that you're going to be dealing with this. It's that time of year when we start getting these hurricanes and tropical storms, and it can be pretty scary when the wind's blowing like that and you're surrounded by trees like I am. So any of you guys out there who have a lot of trees around your house, just be careful. And just be careful when you're out and about. I stopped by the grocery store I had to run some errands this morning, and I stopped by the grocery store just a little bit ago, and man, was the store crazy. And there are people lined up. Every single one of the lines at the grocery store was all the way back to the aisles in the grocery store, just loaded with people. Everybody's buying all the milk, bread, and water right now because this is what happens when we have a big storm. But today I just wanted to talk about dealing with stuff like this, these scary times, and going through stuff like a big hurricane or a storm or an earthquake or whatever it is that, any kind of natural disaster or whatever we have, that's local to us. Because, everybody, wherever you live, we all have problems. Whether you live out west and the heat index is through the roof, and, there's such a surge on the power grid that you can't turn your AC on, or they don't have enough water, and you can't use your water for a time being, or even take a shower, or whatever it is, or a hurricane or tornadoes in the Midwest or whatever. We all have to deal with stuff like this. And if in fact we were still drinking in these moments, it would just make them that much more difficult. Thinking back up, we've had all kinds of stuff going around here. We've had tornadoes come through, and I remember one year we had a tornado come through and go right behind our house. I actually caught it on video camera. It ripped up the whole area, and I was drinking during that period of time. I thought it was funny, when we would hang out and drink during these bad storms, or we'd get like a really bad ice storm. We would it was an opportunity for me and my neighbors to drink and get drunk, and, we didn't have to go to work. So instead of, myself hanging out with my family and all that kind of stuff, I would be out drinking with my buddies, riding four-wheelers around during an ice storm. I remember one year a buddy of mine and myself, we got on his four-wheeler because we couldn't even drive on the roads because the ice was so bad, and we rode up to the local Mexican restaurant and went up there, and there was nobody else in there. I don't even know why they were even open that day, but we rode up there and went and drank at a Mexican restaurant during an ice storm, and there was no power at any of our houses. my wife and my kids were at home, and instead of me being at the house spending time with them, and it was cold in our house too because we had no power, and my heat was not gas, it was a power heater, or electric heater in the house, electric blower or whatever. We didn't have any power, and instead of me being at the house hanging out with them, I was out hanging out with my buddy at the Mexican restaurant drinking, and I did that the whole entire time. As a matter of fact, during that one ice storm, I can't remember the name of it now, K-Pax that we had. That was my son was born during that ice storm, and I didn't have to go to work because we didn't have any power, and I just continued to drink that whole entire week. And the night that my son was born, we had a bunch of neighbors over. I cooked a big dinner for everybody, and we were all hanging out. I was drinking, and next thing you know, my wife's water broke, and I couldn't have driven anyway because we didn't have a four-wheel drive vehicle. My father-in-law came over here and came over to the other house and picked my wife up to take her to the hospital, and I had to get up the next morning. I thought that she was going to be in labor for a while because she was in labor for a long period of time for each of my other kids. But when she got to the hospital, he popped right out, and that's a long story in itself. She was supposed to get in to be induced, and then they called her and said we don't have enough staff. You're gonna have to come next week. And then that same night, my wife's water broke, and she went into labor. And the next day, I had to drive to the hospital. I was super hungover. Um, I was trying to drive through downtown to get to the hospital, and there were power lines all over the road, branches all over the place. I had both of my kids in the car with me as I'm driving downtown through all this mess. I felt horrible. And, looking back on that now and, drinking during those times, I mean, what was I thinking? I mean, I really wasn't thinking. All I cared about was my addiction. And, now, we have this storm on the way. This is something I would have never done, trying to get ready for it in advance. Like, I'm gonna leave after I get done with this video. I'm gonna go pick up that generator. I'm gonna go fill up my gas tank so that I could run my generator. I'm gonna go grab a couple cases of water in case we need it. I'm trying to get things done around here today. I'm gonna fill up our bathtubs with water just so we've got extra water laying around in case. I'm gonna fill up some 5-gallon buckets for the animals with water in case we can't get access to water for a while. I'm trying to get all this stuff pre-done, because I'm not drunk right now and I'm not drinking. And back when I was a drinker, that's what I would do. And I would know. I mean, they would, I would watch the weather and it would tell us, hey, there's a snowstorm, ice storm, a tornado heading your direction or whatever. And instead of me spending my time trying to get things prepared for my family to make sure that we're safe, I would just sit around and drink all day long. And then I would deal with the problem as it came instead of trying to be pre-prepared. And I'm just so glad that I don't drink anymore because it gives me an opportunity to get prepared and to be ready for these types of events because we all have to deal with them. And for any of you guys that are out there that live in any of these states that might be affected by this storm, I'm really sorry that you're going to have to deal with this over the next couple of days because we're about to have some really bad wind coming through. They're saying like 50, 60 mile per hour winds. We're going to have rain all week long, 100% chance of rain for the next couple of days. It's just going to be storms and, thunderstorms and wind like crazy. It's going to be bad. But my point is for today is that we all have situations like this that arise. We all have emergencies, and it's so much better when we don't drink and we're sober because we can face these challenges that life throws at us head on and take them on when we're sober and with a clear mind, and we're not thinking about I just want to get drunk and this or that, or instead of going to the store and getting a bunch of water and filling up gas. Back when I was a drinker, I would have went to the liquor store and be like, I need to stock up with my alcohol before the storm happens because, God forbid I don't have enough booze through the storm if the stores are closed down and I can't go pick up my alcohol. That's how I used to think, and it's just ridiculous. But anyway, guys, my point to today's video is that when we aren't drinking or using whatever our substance of choice is that, our life becomes so much better. And not only can we become prepared whenever, life happens, when emergencies occur and all that kind of stuff, but we can just be more proactive in all areas of our life. Looking back on it now and all the stuff that I'm dealing with my health and going to the doctor and setting up doctor's appointments and having to get to the doctor and have surgeries and make sure I've got my medications and picking all that stuff. There's no way I could have handled all this stuff when I was a drinker. There's just no way I could have done it because there's so much that I have to keep up with on a daily basis. Just taking my medications every single day. It's a lot. I have to take a lot of medications every single day. And, my wife tells me all the time, she's like, I just don't understand how you keep up with all of that. But, I write it all down and make sure that I keep up with it. And I've had some instances where I've accidentally taken too much insulin before, which has only happened like once or twice, but it was an accident. But I could only imagine if I was a drinker, the mistakes that I would have made. Like just for instance, just taking insulin because, you could potentially take your life by taking too much fast-acting insulin, which is what I did. I was supposed to take 19 units of my long-acting insulin, and I screwed up and I took 19 units of fast-acting and ended up going to the hospital because of it. And the thing is that if I was drinking, who knows how many times I would have done that. And if I would have fallen asleep or something, I wouldn't have woken up. I wouldn't have been able to wake up. My wife wouldn't have been able to wake me up. There's just no way. I would have slept through, my blood sugar would have plummeted, and I probably would have never woke up again. And when we're sober, just life is just so much easier to manage. I mean, it really, really is. I mean, just simple things like, if my wife was to give me a call and say, I need you to go pick the kids up from school, there's an emergency, or waking up in the middle. For instance, I'm going to give you guys a quick little story. Last night at 1:30 in the morning, my next door neighbor called me and said, hey, I'm out back right now doing something in my yard. He said, and your dogs were back there barking, and I hear someone back there talking back behind your property. 1:30 in the morning. When I heard the phone ringing, because we were at my brother's house last night having dinner. We went over there yesterday afternoon, and we're over there for about 7 hours yesterday. We didn't get back until about 9 o'clock last night, and I went straight to bed. And when I woke up, I was very tired. I woke up at 1:30 in the morning to my phone ringing, and you guys know, when you get a phone call at 1:30 in the morning, it's not ever a good phone call. So I was already, my heart was racing when I heard the phone ring. I picked it up and I said hello, and I saw it was my neighbor before I answered it because I have him in my contacts. And I picked it up and I said, what's going on? And that's when he told me, hey man, there's somebody back behind your property, like right behind where your animals are at, and they're talking right now. I jumped right up out of the bed and went to go see what was going on. My dogs were back there going crazy. Whoever was back there obviously got scared because I walked out back, or either the dogs scared them, but they were gone at that point. I walked back there with a flashlight, didn't see anybody. So they must have already left. But my neighbor heard them back there talking right before he called. And I went out there. If I had been drunk, and if I'd gotten drunk last night and passed out, if my neighbor had called, first of all, I never would even answer the phone. I just would have been so gone. I wouldn't have woken up. And then second of all, if he had called me at 1:30 in the morning to tell me that, I probably would have been so discombobulated, I wouldn't even known what to do. I probably would. It would have taken me a few minutes just to get out of the bed and stumble out of the bed, and then, it would have taken me a few minutes just to compute what was going on, and then to go out there. I would have probably, been so nauseous, I would have thrown up. Uh, you know, whatever was going on back there, they could have done anything at that point because I wouldn't have been able to get myself together enough to even go out there and handle the situation that was going on. Luckily, whoever was back there, they must have been walking through the woods. I don't know. But they were no longer there when I went outside and they were gone. But I was sober and I was able to handle that situation. And, my wife was very scared. She went to go check on the kids and she stayed inside the house while I went outside. And then it took me a long time to get back to sleep after that. But I finally was able to go back to sleep. I kept checking to make sure there was no problem. But I went back to sleep finally. I slept in a little bit this morning. But when I woke up today, everything was okay. It's not like it back in the day when if something like that would have happened, if I had gotten woken up at 1:30 in the morning, what do you think I would have done after I'd walked outside to check on them? I would have started drinking again. I can't tell you how many times, like in my old neighborhood, when we lived in our old neighborhood, my next door neighbor used to get the police called on him all the time. They would be out there shooting guns. It's a very long story. The guy ended up going down a really dark path, got on drugs really bad, and was having all these people over there. Um, they would be out there like breaking down metal trailers in the middle of the night to go scrap the metal, and they were burning wires in his fire pit in the middle of the night and stuff. There was just a lot of really sketchy stuff that was going on over there. The police were over there all the time, and there were a lot of nights where I would hear somebody shooting a gun, and I would get up to walk over there and tell them, if you don't stop, I'm gonna call the police. And after I would go over there and handle whatever needed to be handled, I would come inside and open a beer at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and start drinking again. And I would stay up the rest of the night drinking. Like I deserved it. I just used everything as an excuse to drink. And my wife would be like, "Are you seriously drinking right now? It's 2 o'clock in the morning or whatever time." There were so many nights that I can remember that I got up in the middle of the night because of something that had happened, and I would start drinking again. And I would stay up all night long doing that, and then pass out at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning and sleep all day because I felt so horrible from drinking all night. But that was my excuse. I tell my wife, "Oh, I was so stressed out, and that scared me so bad, and my anxiety level's up to here now, so I need to drink." And now that I'm sober, I don't have to do that anymore. Last night, yeah, I stayed up for a little bit, but I went back to bed and fell asleep, and I woke up this morning and I was okay. But it's just being able to handle those surprise things that happen to us in life, those emergencies that pop up. When somebody gives us a call at 3 o'clock in the morning because they're broken down on the side of the road and they need you to come pick them up. If you're drunk, you're not going to be able to go do that. If, for instance, my daughter, she hit a deer. That was back, I don't even remember, was it February, March, somewhere around there? My daughter hit a deer in the middle of the night. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. Or 4 o'clock in the morning, I can't remember, but she was on her way to work because she works at a grocery store. She stocks shelves, and she was on her way to work, and she hit a deer, and it like almost totaled her truck. And when we got the phone call, and I woke right up, and I got in my car and I drove down to where she was at. Her radiator was busted. There was radiator fluid pouring all over the ground. The whole front of her car was ripped off. There was a deer on the side of the road that was passed away. I mean, it was just a big mess. And we were able to handle that situation that night. If I had been a drinker, first of all, even if I had gotten up to go help her, I would have been super intoxicated still. And then I would have been nervous, the police might show up or whatever. And there I am on the side of the road intoxicated, and I had to drive myself down there. But I didn't have to worry about that this time. I just got up and went straight down there and helped my daughter out. And we came back to the house and everything worked out. But when we're intoxicated, we're not available for these emergency situations that occur. And we can just be more proactive when we're not drinking because, we're not drunk. And just life is so much easier to manage when we're not always intoxicated. I just can't say more good things about being sober and just being able to handle those daily challenges that life throws at us when we're sober. It's just so much easier to manage. And, not to mention just being easier to manage, but I don't like blow my lid every single time something goes wrong anymore. My emotions stay basically like this all the time. Back when I was a drinker, it was constantly up and down and up and down, like we were talking about yesterday. I don't get like that anymore. I don't freak out anymore. I'm just a pretty laid back, chill person. And like I said, I still get upset about things, but I don't go crazy, And most of the time I just keep it inside. And I just don't want to have any altercations with anyone. That's just the way that life works out. But once again, guys, being sober, being able to handle all those curveballs that life throws at us is just so much easier and so much better to live this way. And for any of you guys out there that live in these states that are going to be dealing with this big storm that's headed our way, really sorry that you're going to have to be dealing with that. Just hang tight. Hopefully this won't last too long, and I hope and I'm praying that nobody has any damage on their property or anybody gets hurt. That's the biggest thing, because we can replace anything. Physical possessions, they don't mean anything. but our lives and our loved ones' lives and anybody's life is very important because we can't replace those people. So, I'm praying that everybody gets through this safe, and my heart goes out to anybody that's going to be in the line of fire for this big storm that's headed in this direction. And any of you guys anywhere out there in the world that are dealing with some kind of problem right now, I'm praying for you, and I hope that everything works out. But remember to stay sober today, and remember why you're sober. It's just one day at a time. The day's almost over. I think it's like 3 o'clock right now. You only got a couple more hours to go. Make it through today, and then all you got to do is make it through tomorrow. But just don't worry about tomorrow. Just think about today. A couple more hours, before you know it, you're going to be in your bed, and you're going to go to sleep, and you're going to tell yourself as you lay there, I made it through another day. And tomorrow when you wake up, you can just rinse and repeat and do it all over again. Guys, I love y'all so much. I really, really do. You guys are so awesome. I can't thank y'all enough for just being so kind to each other in this awesome community that we have here. And especially for all the people that have been on the channel for a long time. I can't thank you guys enough for being so welcoming to all the new people that are hopping on the channel every single day. You guys are so great. Thank you so much to every single one of you. I really do appreciate it so much. And with that said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get off of here for today. I love y'all. Stay safe. Stay sober. And I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. I love y'all. Have a great day. Bye-bye.